really should have cleaned up that glass when it happened. And it looks like Wilma's still not here. Ow. Have to treat my feet later, I guess. Oh, but it looks like she left a note this time. Let's see here.
Professor Jeffers, sorry I missed you last week. I'm sure you got on well enough without me. I haven't listened to the episode you did while I was gone yet, but I will before I get back. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I will be out again this week. My birthday is April 22nd, and I am in Kansas, hanging out with Frank for a while. I should be back before the next show. Also, I couldn't help but notice that my window is broken. We can discuss the whys when we see each other next, but in the meantime, can you please get the window fixed and clean up the glass? See you in a couple of weeks, Wilma. P.S. Is that dried slime on the floor all over the house? Can you clean that up too, please?
Dried slime? Well, that was rude. Fred can't help it. She's right about the glass, though. I really need to get that cleaned up. Well, I'm glad she's having fun. Anyway, what to do? The journal that I found last time. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that would be a good one. All right. Hello, and welcome to Cryptid Remarks. I'm Professor Edward Jeffers, and Wilma is out celebrating her birthday with her friend Frank. I believe she's mentioned him a couple of times on the podcast, so we're going to go ahead, and I have found a journal that I wrote a while back that I figured I would read. Just to have something to put out there while Wilma's gone. Okay, so let's see. Start with right here. Okay. December 9th, 1967. Still walking through the Wayne National Forest today. It isn't quite as cool as it was yesterday, but it is still pretty chilly out. Still no rain or snow, so I'm still pretty comfortable. Heard a song on the radio today called Purple Haze by a gentleman by the name of Jimi Hendrix. I have to admit this young man has an interesting musical style. I shall have to see if I can find more of his music to sample. Watching his music develop over the next few decades should be quite entertaining. Oh, yeah. Okay. Jessica Mothman contacted me today. I haven't heard from her since she got that new dog she was so excited about a few months back. She didn't seem as excited this time. Something is really off. I'm not really sure what to do about it, she told me, and asked me if I would mind coming by to talk things over. Point Pleasant isn't that far away, so it looks like I'll be wandering down that way. December 12th, 1967. I walked across the Silver Bridge into West Virginia today. I got yelled at a lot, but that's nothing new. It serves them right for not making it wide enough for a proper footpath. Honestly, it really isn't a great-looking bridge. It seems like they went with function over aesthetics, but didn't go in that hard on function either. If you asked me, they should just knock the whole thing down and start over. Jessica was waiting for me at the tree line just outside of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Her mood was noticeably darker than usual. She was putting up a strong front, but you can always tell when an old friend is really upset about something. We sat down to a meal and she told me that something terrible was going to happen soon. She could sense death and destruction on a large scale, and it was focusing on the bridge I had just walked across. I asked her if she could be more specific, like if there was somebody that was going to try to destroy the bridge, or if it was an natural disaster, or whatever it was. And she said that she can never tell that specifically, that precognition doesn't work like that. It's like staring into a purple haze. I told her I had heard a song with that title recently, which seemed to annoy her, and she snapped at me to take this seriously. And I thought that was unnecessary. We talked about it for most of the day and brainstormed a couple of ideas that we may try out tomorrow. December 13th, 1967. I don't think today went as well as Jessica would have liked. So among the psychic abilities Jessica has is that she is a bit of an empath. And when I say that, I mean that not only does she sense other people's emotions, she can project emotions onto others. We decided this was our best bet to try to prevent any tragedy that may occur in the near future. There is a place not far from the bridge where we could observe without being seen. From there, Jessica projected a sense of dread in the general direction of the bridge. Admittedly, this isn't the most effective way to transfer emotion, but she insisted that this was the only way that she could bring the general level of concern in the area up high enough to convince people to avoid the bridge. Unfortunately, it is hard to tell if the people in the area are affected enough by her empathy to make a difference. It's not like we could interview people to see how they are feeling. Sadly, in spite of us being there all day, her efforts didn't seem to reduce traffic on the bridge at all. By the end of the day, Jessica was looking pretty rough. It was difficult for me to convince her to eat throughout the day, as she was so focused on trying to drive people away from the area. She would have stayed through the night, pushing feelings of dread over everybody on the bridge if I hadn't insisted that we go back so she could get some rest. You aren't going to be any help to anybody if you pass out from exhaustion, I told her, and she begrudgingly admitted that I was right. Our trip back to her place was rough. She could barely stand and leaned on me most of the way back. I thought I was going to have to carry her a couple of times, and when we got back, she fell asleep immediately. December 14th, 1967. Jessica looked terrible when she woke up this morning. I tried to get her to eat something before she went back to the bridge to try again, but she insisted that she had to get back to the bridge as soon as possible to keep trying. Eventually, she accepted an apple from me and darted off for our hiding place near the bridge. I could feel the dread emanating from Jessica from nearly half a mile away. When I caught up with her by the bridge, her face was nearly as red as her eyes with the effort to drive people away. The traffic was no better today. In fact, it was worse. I could tell Jessica was getting more upset by the minute. I had no luck getting her to eat anything else today. By the time the sun was setting, it looked like she was starting to get pale. She had beads of cold sweat all over her. I begged her to come back to her place with me, but she snapped at me, accusing me of being heartless. And I'll just say here, this is not like her. She's usually very collected, and I was genuinely surprised by this. Okay, where was I? She snapped at me, accusing me of being heartless. Okay, and telling me that there was no time to come up with another plan. Eventually, I left her there. Since I only seemed to be aggravating her, I was doing more harm than good. I left a couple of apples with her and went back to her place. December 15th, 1967. I fell asleep before Jessica got home last night, if she ever came home. She was not there when I woke up. When I went to check on her, the apples I had left the night before were untouched. She looked like she hadn't slept all night. She was leaning on one of the supports of our hiding place, barely able to stand. I picked one of the apples up and held it in front of her, and she took a bite without saying a word. Over the course of the next half hour or so, I managed to get her to eat both of them, and when I asked her if she needed anything else, she just shook her head. There was a chair nearby, so I set it beside her, gently lowering her into a sitting position. Never once did she break concentration. It was close to 4 o'clock when I offered to get her a couple more apples to eat. She nodded her head, so I went back to her place to get her some. Now I wish I had just grabbed some apples and gone back as quickly as I could. Sincerely, I was only thinking of her when I decided to prepare a full meal for her. She looked so tired and hungry. About the time I was finishing up and ready to head back to her with her surprise meal, I heard the crash. Leaving the food behind, I dashed to the hiding spot as quickly as I could, dreading what I would find. But the dread was all my own. I felt nothing from Jessica. When I got there, I saw the collapsed bridge before I saw Jessica. The sight spurred me to run faster. I found Jessica on the ground weeping. I tried so hard. I really did. They wouldn't listen to their own feelings. She sobbed, and I helped her sit up. I did my best to console her, telling her she did far more than anybody else would have done. If it made her feel any better, she didn't show it. I had to carry her back to her place. She cried about halfway home and slept the other half. By the time we got back, there was no waking her up. I gently laid her down, covering her against the chill of the cold. And now I'm sitting vigil over her. I don't know what else to do. Sorry. Memories. Okay, December 18th, 1967. Jessica finally woke up today. I was beginning to fear that she would never wake, that she had burned herself out trying to save the people on the bridge. I offered her water and some food, and she took it, but ate without enjoyment. I told her that she did the best she could. She just looked at me sadly and nodded, sipping at her cup. Fortunately, it warmed up considerably a couple days ago, which I think was good for her, but she still looks completely drained. And I definitely understand why. She's tried so hard to keep people safe for so long. Having this happen on her watch has to be quite a blow, especially since she nearly killed herself to try to prevent it. I told her I would at least stay until the solstice, which seemed to cheer her up a little bit. We spent most of the day walking around the forest, avoiding going anywhere near Point Pleasant. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of what I'm going to read there, I think. It was rough. It was a really hard time, and it took her a long time to forgive herself for that, even though she did nothing wrong. In fact, she was a real hero, even though her efforts really didn't end up helping in the end. But, yeah. Anyway, I think I'm done for today. So if you're on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe, and if not, that's fine. You can find us at cryptidremarks.com. We have Blue Sky at profedjeffers.bluesky.social. You can find us on Instagram. You can link to our Discord through our website. And if you have any questions, send them to cryptidremarks@gmail.com. Anyway, thanks for listening. You've been listening to Cryptid Remarks. The part of Professor Edward Jeffers was played by Jeffrey Morton. The part of Wilma Chronicle was played by Kimberly Morton. All music was written by Ruben Fansler. Sound editing by Jeffrey Morton and Ruben Fansler. Our web guru is Aaron Milosic. If you have any questions you would like us to cover, contact us at cryptidremarks@gmail.com or link to our Discord through cryptidremarks.com. Thank you for listening. And don't worry, I probably don't exist either.